Hello my dear students, in the previous classes we have written the question answers of the chapters. Now today in this class we shall start the second chapter of the history, that is the Socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution. See my dear students, in this chapter we shall discuss about the two. First we shall discuss about this socialism in Europe, means how socialism or the idea of the socialism came into the Europe. Later on, after this we shall see that because of this idea of the socialism, a revolution took place in the Europe, and that is the Russian Revolution. So, the roots of the socialism as well as the roots of the Russian Revolution are connected with the revolution of the France. In the first chapter, we have discussed that how by the efforts of the members of the third state as well as some members of the second state, there was a complete transformation of the power in the France. We have seen that how in the France the members of the first and second state who were having a lot of power by the birth, their power came to an end, and after that a parliamentary form of the government or a government formed by the consent of the people or by the view of the people was being formed. So when French Revolution occurred and such a social change was there, then the idea of the equality, idea of the freedom, idea of the liberty, this started to spread all over the Europe. Now people of the Europe thought that what happened in the France, that can be happened in our countries also. So they were inspired a lot. Why? Because this was not in the France only that aristocracy and the church were having a lot of power. In other countries of the Europe also, such type of practices were prevailing. Or in other words, we can say that in maximum European countries, the power was concentrated in the hand of the aristocracy, means king and his relatives, nobles, etc., as well as the power was in the hand of the church. Either that was the Roman Church or that was the Catholic Church. And what was in the hand of the common people? Nothing. They were not getting anything. They were working hard and they had to pay a variety of the taxes about which we have discussed in the first chapter. Now in this chapter, we shall see by influence of the French Revolution, many people in the Europe sought to change the power. Means they also thought that this can happen in our country also. And among them, three were the most important. First one were the liberals, second one was the radicals, and third one was the conservatives. One more thing, my dear students, these liberals we can say moderates. When we were studying in the 8th class, there in case of the India's freedom struggle, we have seen moderates. Same were the liberals. Now what was the view of the liberals? Liberals want to make such a nation which tolerate all the religion. Means, in other words, we can say they wanted such type of nation where members of the all religious groups can live. Why liberals wanted this? Because at that time, Europe, Britain was following the England Church, Russia, France and Germany. They were following the Catholic Church. Besides that, liberals also want that power should not be concentrated in the few wealthier groups. They also want that there should be a government which can be formed by the people, and it should have an efficient judiciary. Now, government and judiciary both should be separated from the aristocracy, means both should work without any type of restraint or any type of the obstacle. Yet, the views of the liberals were good, but liberals were not the Democrat. Why they were not the Democrat? Because they didn't talk about the women's. They didn't want to give right of vote to the women. So, contrast to the liberals, the views of the radicals were a little bit good. Why? Because they also want that there should not be concentration of the property in the few hands. They also want a parliamentary form of the government. But there were few radicals also who want that women should be also given some rights. Now, comparison to the liberals and the radicals, the views of the conservatives were totally different. Why? Because till the 18th century, conservatives were believing that there should not be any change in the society, because if any change will take place, it will not last long, it will ruin. But after seeing the events of the French Revolution, these conservatives also inspired. Now they thought that yes, some change was required. But like the liberals and the radicals, they didn't believe complete transformation. According to the conservatives, changes should take place, but in a slow process. And while making changes, we should not forget our glorious past. So this was the view of the liberal, radical and the conservatives. But except these three, there were one more group, and that were the socialists. They were believing in the idea of the socialism. What was the idea of the socialism? First, as we are knowing, at that time, at that time industries, including the land, was in the hand of the few people. So obviously, the gain or the profit goes to them only. So socialists gave this theory that if there will be the distribution of the property, then more people can be benefited by that. And why this theory of the socialism, or why the ideas of the socialist encouraged the people? Because it was the time of the rapid industrial growth. As we are knowing, in the 18th century, European countries were industrializing, means industries were set up, and because of the industrial growth, men, women, including the children, came to the work, and at that time working hours were very long, and comparison to the working hours, the wages which they were getting, that was very much less. Besides that, housing and sanitation was also a very big problem. Towns and cities were overcrowded. Now, to solve this problem, liberals and radicals started to think. Why liberals and radicals started to think about the problem? Because liberals and radicals were also the property owners. They were also the industrialists. So they thought that if condition of the workforce or the labor will improve, then obviously they will work more. And when labor will work more, output will be more, and accordingly profit can be accumulated at a high rate. So according to the liberals and the radicals, problem of the common people should be solved so that workforce will be more productive, healthy and profit will be much. But everyone was not in the favor of the liberals and the radicals. There were the socialists, and two were the most important socialists. One was the Karl Marx and another was the Frederick Engels. About that we shall discuss, but first we shall discuss about the cooperatives, because there were some people in the socialist also who were believing in the cooperatives. Now what are the cooperatives? Cooperatives are any type of small business or enterprise which is operated by a group of people. So what was the idea of the socialists? Just see, socialists were believing that if any company or any land will be operated by the maximum, so all that will work hard because that will be their property, and when they all will work hard, obviously the profit will be more, and when profit will be more, that all profit should be equally distributed according to the work done by the people. And if this type of theory will be there, obviously society will grow a lot. People will be more wealthier, prosperous and richer. So there were the two people. One was the Robert Owen and another was the Louis Blanc. Robert Owen gave the idea of the cooperatives, and Mr. Robert Owen also formed a cooperative which was the New India, and he formed this in the Indiana, means USA, sorry, in the Indiana, USA. So idea of the Robert Owen was a little bit good, but Louis Blanc added in the idea of the Robert Owen what Louis Blanc told. He told that government should encourage the people to form the cooperatives, because one thing is clear. Suppose 10 members are working in any cooperative, they are very truthful, loyal to each other, but it can be that there should be some clash among them. But if cooperative will work under the control of the government, or government will supervise the working of the cooperative, such type of problems can't take place. That was the idea which was given by the Louis Blanc. He told that government should encourage the cooperatives, and if cooperatives will be formed, obviously all the problems will be solved. Now, the most important one who were in the favor of the theory of the socialism, that was the Karl Marx and the Frederick Engels. But among these two also, the idea of the Karl Marx got more popularity. Why? Because Karl Marx told that the society which is there in the Europe, that is a capitalist society. What is capitalist? It is a situation in which power and wealth will be concentrated in the few hands only. So, he told right thing. According to him, it was a capitalist society, and when capitalist society will be there, they will not think about the workers who are making that society productive. So, he told that workers should form the organization and they have to make rallies against the capitalist. And it was the firm belief of the Karl Marx that if workers will make rallies and protest against the capitalists, they will surely win this. And this idea of the socialist, or this theory of the socialist, inspired the people of the Europe a lot. Why? Because after 1815, the government which was formed in the European countries, people want to get rid of that. Now what happened in the 1815, about this you shall discuss more in the class 10th. But I am just giving a little bit symptoms related to that. In the 1815, the big powers of the Europe met at Vienna. That is also known as the Congress of Vienna, where they decided that which territory will be under the control of the which individual. Or for the simple word, in the simple words, I can tell you all that powerful kings met at Vienna. They divided their territories and accordingly they started to rule their territory. So once again we can say that after the 1815 also, the government which was formed in the European country, that was the capitalist government, or that was the government of the aristocracy. And this idea of changing the government was made possible because in the 1815 there was an Italian Giuseppe Mazzini. He was a revolutionary of the Italy, and he made a conspiracy to unify the areas of the Italy. So because of these all, people of the Europe were in the favor to transform the government. And at that time, the idea which was accepted by the mass or accepted by the maximum people, that was the theory of the socialism. Now, in the next class, we shall discuss that how people supported the theory of the socialism and how this theory of the socialism gave rise to the Russian Revolution. So, bye my dear students, we shall meet in the next class soon.